it's nothing new, but it's so good to see you. We do this every day, and I'm still so amazed by you. So hold me tight through the night. It's just us two, me and you.
Good morning. I just woke up. Welcome to the second video coming to you from the Homestead. I feel like my glasses are a little bit smudgy. Story of my life. I'm constantly like, I can't see, and then I put on my glasses and I still can't see because they're all smudgy. And then when I wear my mask, they fog up and I can't see. There we go. That's a little bit better. I'm really hungry right now. So I'm gonna have this last banana. Last night, I had pretty good sleep. We moved from the living room on cots to the actual room that we've now decided is going to be our master bedroom. We've been going back and forth with which room we want to make our master. And now we put a blow-up mattress in the room that I think that we're going to be using. We bought it yesterday because we were essentially like, we need to feel like we have a bedroom instead of just being in the living room all the time, sleeping on the floor. I actually got a couple bites on my ankles, probably because I was sleeping right by the stack of firewood, and obviously there are spiders and other bugs that crawl on wood, so I was getting bitten up on my ankles. So long story short, we bought a blow-up mattress because we were like, okay, obviously we have our king bed that we absolutely love in storage about 4 hours from here. But like I've said a bajillion times, we are waiting to bring all of our stuff in until we're finished painting and polishing the floors and doing other maintenance on the house. So we bought the inflatable mattress because we were like, okay, cool. When guests come, we have a spot for them to stay. Like we'll use it even when we have our bed in here. So that's what we decided to do. And I'm gonna take a bite of this because I'm very hungry. Last night I made, okay, maybe a couple bites. Last night I made this yogurt and milk replacement for Wilson. We went to the vet, and here's some footage of last night to give you guys an update about what's going on. It has been a very long day. Most days here, they feel really long and filled with so much, and not long in a bad way. Like it's not like it feels like, oh, the day dragged on. It's like you get to the end of the day here and you're like, we did so much today, and you're just constantly stimulated. There's always something to do. One of the most common problems when it comes to baby lambs, I say baby lambs like if a lamb is not a baby, but you know what I mean, is bloat. It can be fatal.
It's also a problem for many humans.
And it can be fatal, or it can just be really uncomfortable for them. So we went to the vet today.
Again.
Because, for the second time, Wilson has some missing wool under his armpit, in his inner legs, and it looks kind of bad. And so I took him in, and the vet was like, that was Lanka.
It wasn't me.
Whenever we are in the kitchen, he's looking at us like, what are you gonna feed me? So,
just to clarify,
there he is. Give me food. I thought it was something else that I had seen online called scabby mouth, but it actually is not, which I'm very happy about because that can be a whole different issue, an animal that we would have to deal with. So we went in there, she let me know that it was not scabby mouth, which I was very happy about. And she just said, you know, it could be like moisture shock, which is like when a lot of rain gets on them. When we first found Wilson, he was just covered in mud, and he was so, like he had been in the rain and in the mud. And so we washed some mud off of him. And she just said it was the moisture shock of the mud and the rain, and just, you know, she put his scabs that he had under a microscope and essentially said like that's what the issue is. So long story short, I got a shampoo that he uses once or twice a week just to spot treat those specific areas. But that is a whole different thing. I was talking to her about bloat because I know it's a common problem with lambs and it can be really serious. And so I wanted to make sure that I could avoid him getting bloat. And so if you mix a original non-flavored natural yogurt in with their milk replacement, which is what I'm using right here for him, and then I use this bottle. So I have to essentially combine these two the night before I feed him, and it has to sit for about 6 to 12 hours. Sorry, I'm probably not making full sense right now because I am very tired, as I said. So the first thing it wants me to do is create as much milk replacer that I would for a day, because obviously I'm creating food for him for a day. So this is a liter of water here, 50 grams, which are essentially like one of these scoops. Actually, like a little bit more than that, because I think one of these scoops is 40 grams. Yeah, 40. Now we're back here in real time, and I've got this yogurt and milk replacement for Wilson, and he seems to be enjoying it. He had a feed this morning, and then he was out running around in the orchard, and now I'm pretty sure he's napping because he's not bawing. If he's not bawing, he's napping. If he's not napping, he's eating and bawing at the same time. Taking care of a lamb is a lot of work, and it's actually pretty scary too, because obviously my main goal is to keep him alive and healthy. And everyone I talk to is like, lambs don't like to stay alive. They're actually very difficult. And every person that I've talked to has had a lamb pass away on them. Obviously we had his twin brother pass on us about an hour into having him. If you don't know that story, watch my previous vlog. But you know, the shepherdess across the road even had one pass on her. So even the experts have it happen to them, and I'm definitely not an expert. This is the first time I have ever raised a lamb. The good news is his energy increases every single day, and he's now running, picking up speed. Another thing that I do for him is I warm up the hot water in this bladder. So I use this kettle, and I just keep reusing the water over and over. And because there's obviously no point to get new water every time, and we're on rainwater. Also, save water. I'm pouring this into the kettle right now. I warm it up, get it real hot. And then I throw this in with him in his pen. He's in the living room right now with trash bags kind of opened up and splayed out underneath a blanket, so that and a blanket that like we don't really mind if he pees on, because obviously you can always wash a blanket. And it's kind of like the blanket that we use for picnics and stuff like that. So I'm gonna start heating this up, and that goes into his little playpen with him to keep him warm. The important thing is to keep a lamb warm, because when they don't have their mom, they would snuggle up to their mom, and obviously sheep have wool, which is very, very warm. I picked up some kitchen towels yesterday when we went thrifting. How cute are these? They've got little ducks on them. I am currently living my best cottage grandmother life, but how cute. And then I got this like pink one with it and 2 of the duck ones. And then I also bought this, which I'm wearing right now because obviously I was like in a pink mood yesterday. We haven't been able to really wash clothes, and taking care of a lamb gets your clothes dirty pretty quickly. Also living on a homestead does as well. So I'm just kind of running out of clothes right now, and our washer and our dryer are still on their way. Our refrigerator's coming today, which is so exciting. It's coming from 3 to 5. That's the view right outside of the kitchen window right now. The sheep are pretty close to the fence grazing. That shed that you see to the right there, that's kind of a blue color. We plan to fix some of the metal slabs on the side and like nail them in and, you know, fix the building as much as we can. It's actually a pretty sturdy structure, and we figured that out when we had that big windstorm recently because it didn't even budge at all. And when we were driving down our road the other day in the big windstorm, we saw a bunch of sheds that had the roof fly off and was on the ground. And we saw some sheds just completely demolished from the wind, and we were pretty happy that ours held strong. But we plan to paint that red so that it feels a little bit more barn style. And we think that that would help really bring that to life. I'm going to show you guys how Wilson is feeding now. So this is where I have him right now until we move him into the shed with some hay. And obviously I let him out of here and let him run in the grass, especially when it's sunny outside. And then I hold him a lot when I'm sitting by the fire over here. And he's a happy little guy. He gets very excited when I walk over here because he knows that he's gonna get some milk. You can see him just kind of like trying to figure out already where the teat is. So I'm gonna do this right now. All right, so I normally get in here with him and I go in this back corner because it's the cleanest part of the pen. And you can see his little tail's wagging. He knows what's happening. He's already looking for the teat under my leg and all sorts of different areas. I usually grab a towel. Oops, don't knock over your milk. I usually grab a towel and I put it around his mouth because he can be kind of messy. And then he always pushes back. So all lambs normally do. I watched a video on YouTube about it too and read a lot about it. They'll push back when they're feeding. So it's good to get behind them like this. And as you'll see, he'll likely grab for it. There he goes. And he's just gonna go for it.
Off to the races.
Off to the races. Chug, 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 chug. So that's what he does. It goes by really quickly. So sometimes I kind of like to just give him a little breath. Yeah, is that good? And he's so excited, tapping his feet. Yay, yay, yay. Okay, here we go again. Yay! Milk, 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 milk.
Chug, 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 chug.
And give him one more breath. Yeah, that's okay. Give you another breath. Okay, good boy. And here we go again. Chug, 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 chug. Yum, 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 yum. Yay! Dunzo.
That's so much faster than like just last week.
I know, he's progressed. Just 2 days ago, he has progressed so much stronger, and now knows how to completely suckle, which is really great. He's going to be able to go up in milk replacer super soon and have a little bit more at a time, but that comes with age. I bring him out to the orchard after he eats so he can just walk around, nibble on grass, because obviously it's good for him to mouth grass and get used to it so that he can, that's what he'll be eating when he gets older, and he won't even be on milk replacer anymore. I got these thick wool gumboot socks yesterday, and let me just tell you, they're wonderful. They're so comfy, they're so warm, they're crucial out here. So it's sprinkling a little bit, but not too bad, so he'll be okay. And I'll stay with him. I normally like walk him around the orchard and he follows me. I just got out of the shower and the fridge is here. So we're sorting out exactly where we want to put it.
There we go. Okay, so let me see. Yes. Yes, let's sing. Oh, look at that.
Oh.
Okay, so thank you guys.
Thank you.
Oh, good. Just want to take it. The accent, is that Canadian or American?
American.
Yeah. My old man's from Napier though.
Oh,
Is he?
Yeah.
Nice. Thank you very much, guys.
Yeah, have a good one.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I'm having a little bit of a fridge dilemma right now. Let me know what you guys feel. We got a right hinge because we were originally going to put it around the corner in that room because there's a full space right there that the previous owners had a fridge. And it was right next to the dining room table, so we were like, okay, that'll be fine temporarily until we renovate and figure out where we're gonna put the fridge. The thing is, in this space, now that it fits here, which we didn't realize it would, but it does fit here, and there's an electrical cord there and everything for it, which is very useful. But now I'm like, we should have a left hinge because this opens up to the kitchen, you know what I mean? So like you're in here cooking and doing what you need to do, and then you come here and you open it and it's opened up to the kitchen. But then Alex made a good point that like he kind of likes being able to open it and like lean on this wall here. Alex couldn't be bothered with either one, doesn't really care which way it goes, but
That's
I'm kind
not
of
true.
Well, you said that you really don't care.
It's
And
a matter
that's okay that you're not particular about it.
It's a matter of preference. Now, obviously having it on the left-hand side is a little bit better for the
Practical.
flow, the feng shui
Yeah.
of the room. But I don't think this is where the refrigerator is going to live permanently.
No.
I think once we remodel, we're going to switch things up, and the refrigerator will be in that corner, or maybe even in this corner, and then
If
a
it's in
new
that corner
stove.
or that corner, then the right hinge works the best.
Exactly. And they say you want your kitchen
Yeah.
in a triangle, right? So that you have the sink, the range, and the refrigerator in a triangle so that there's a nice flow there. Right now we have everything in a straight line. So obviously it's not ideal, but this is a beautiful refrigerator. I think you did a great job choosing. It looks nice. And this is the one reason I like it. Yes, okay, so it would be nice to be able to be here, pull it open. But, on the other hand, hear me out. The lean. When you're thinking about life, you're wondering what you got, what you're gonna cook for dinner, sometimes you need to lean up against something. These decisions can take a long time. So, we have a nice built-in, sturdy platform for a lean. And personally, I think it's all good. We should get this stuff out of there maybe before it gets all froyoed. I think we're keeping
The
it.
thing that makes me feel better about it is that we do plan on probably having the refrigerator move to this corner or that corner, and both of those corners would mean that a right hinge, which is what this one is, would be the right call. So, temporarily in this corner, I like that it's not gonna always live in this corner because I feel like it's just, I don't know, it fits, but I'd rather it be in one of those two corners because it's just a little bit more hidden and like allows a little bit more flow. I think when they pull this out and this way, it's gonna be nice to be able to chop in this area, especially if we do a bigger window on this wall. So, we're gonna.
I think we're accepting it.
We're accepting.
It's finding, it's being accepted.
We're accepting you. also building a kitchenette in the sleep out. So the good news is if this ends up not working out in the renovation as well, then it can go into the sleep out kitchenette. So either way, you are not part of our life refrigerator and we will not return you, and we have accepted you into the homestead.
And you are valued and cared for.
You are worthy.
And you're worthy.
You are enough.
Like, I'm not gonna prep this whole room just to have the ceiling boards sagging. So I'm finding the studs, and then I'm using drywall screws, and I'm just screwing these gypsum boards back up into the rafters, the wooden rafters, so that they aren't like sagging, because they were using nails. Like, I don't know if this ceiling is from 1950.
Must be.
I'm assuming it was.
Yeah.
But just finding the studs along here and adding an extra.
We'll eventually do new.
Yeah, but it's a big project. It's
So
going to
this
require
will-
us to take all of the ceiling boards. We're going to have to go up into the attic, peel back all the insulation.
No, but this will help for now.
This is a Band-Aid that once we do it and we fix all the cracks and stuff will last us for a few years.
Warming up and whisking more milk, guys, because this is what I've been doing most of the time. And if I vlogged every time I was doing it, it would get very boring for you. But just showing you guys real life. Caring for a lamb is not all cuddles. It's also lots of warming up milk, lots of whisking, and lots of time. It's all very worth it. Feel that temperature is good. But it is work, and it is time. And I'm lucky that I work from home because I'm able to really spread out his feeds, because one of the main problems is when you feed them a lot at one time. So I do try to spread it out a lot for him so that he doesn't get bloat. Because of that, I'm just constantly doing this. Lambs in nature would suckle from the teat of their mother, and then they would like run around and then come back and then run around, and they just do like a little bit by little because they don't like to sit still for too long, right? Especially when they're out in a paddock with maybe a sibling and their mom, like they'll be grazing a lot and running around. And so it's kind of good to try to act as nature would. I'm playing nature right now, where I'm trying to make his feeds feel as much as it would if he was out in nature with his family. Because I'm what he has now. So, doing my best. Good.
I've said it many times, I know.
Good job.
I would change my ways, I know for sure. When all the crows decide to meet, they settle down beneath my feet. I've got it right and I got it wrong, but I learned my lesson hanging on. Come sit here with me by the fire and let it go for a little while. So be here as the night starts falling. Let my fingers walk over your head. We got nothing to be scared of. I'd rather be with you than by myself. Now always in your head.
feel like we've had a lot of kitchen conversations in this video. Tonight we are making tacos for dinner, and so I am going to whip up some guac and I'm gonna whip up some salsa. Alex just ran across the street. Our neighbor told us to go over there and take lemons anytime. They have a lemon tree that is thriving. Thank you.
Are these enough lemons?
Yes. We went into town these last couple of days. I actually had a day that I was practicing my driving because, like I've said in a previous vlog, maybe some of you have seen it, maybe some of you haven't, I have to practice driving here. Opposite side of the car, opposite side of the road. It takes time to adjust. For some people it may take more time than others. For me, it's slow and steady. And I know that in that video, a lot of people commented that they'd probably be the same way. It's crazy how it can just completely shift your mind because your natural instinct is to do what you've always done, because I've been driving for a very long time. I have my New Zealand driver's license and I have my contacts in, for those of you who are worried about my eyesight, because I would be too. But I can see 20/20 right now, guys. We're good. Update on Wilson, because you can probably hear him bawling over there. He's very excited for dinner. He has about 30 more minutes till he eats, but he sees Alex, so he's like getting excited that he's going to eat soon. He has an update. We set up his pen and we put hay in his pen in the garage because we're essentially going to graduate him to the garage, because obviously he's not always going to live in the house, so he wouldn't want to. He grazes grass, he wants to be with the other sheep. So we transitioned him. That's what a lot of people recommended, to put him in a shed or a garage with a pen and with hay. He was so excited about the hay because he was like mouthing it. It was interesting for him because he's been wanting to mouth things, and like he couldn't really do that with the blanket inside the house. He was like trying to nibble on it. So we put the pen in the garage thinking that he'd sleep there overnight. Wilson has graduated to the garden shed with some hay. He's in the same little pen and he's got the same blanket. But now he has some hay, which he's actually really enjoying mouthing. He was getting a bit antsy inside without having hay or anything, and he was nibbling on his wool on his leg where we've had some problems. So I decided to put him in here to give him hay and to kind of just allow his body to get used to the temperature out here. I'm still going to put his wool coat on, but the truth is, you know, he's going to live in the paddock and he's going to graze grass, and that's just where he wants to live with the rest of the sheep, so he can have company and live the way he's supposed to live. And so this is kind of the first step to getting him there. He's officially feeding the way he's supposed to, right side up. He is pretty happy to be in a little pen with hay. I think it keeps him just interested more. I think he was pretty bored inside, although he was nice and warm. He just needed something to stimulate his mouth, because that's what sheep do all day. They're constantly nibbling. And so now he can safely nibble on hay and just enjoy himself. So there he is. He's graduated.
Moving on up.
And next is the paddock, where he'll have a nice open space and fresh grass to graze, and he'll be around other sheep. And to be honest, we're constantly in and out of this room anyways, and I will always be in here checking on him and feeding him when it's time. And we're always working in and out of this thing anyways, especially right now as we get into, in the next couple of days, taking care of the garden. Over the next couple of weeks, we'll get it all planted and weeded, and can't wait. But then we got cold feet about it because we felt like it might be too cold outside. We want to wait at least a couple more nights because these next 2 nights drop in temperature and then it goes back up again. So as we get closer into spring and summer, he's gonna be totally fine in there. And then he's just going to graduate to the entire paddock. We have 2 paddocks here. Like I said in a previous video, our neighbor is going to keep her young lamb in our paddock as well, so they can be friends. And that's kind of where Wilson is at in his stages of life. When we were in town, we also went to this restaurant called Saint Sebastian. That was a recommendation from a friend of ours named Victoria, who also works there. She was like, it's definitely the best restaurant in town. We went, it was so delicious. Speaking of Victoria, we're actually going to see her tomorrow with our other friend, Alex. They are good friends who started a little farm. It's called Little Farm New Zealand. And they create these veg boxes that go out to locals in the area. So fresh, organic produce that goes straight to people's doors. And they're always at the farmer's market on Saturday at the Waitadapa Farmers Market. I got in contact with them back in January when we were in managed isolation. I can't remember how they reached out to me on Instagram or somebody recommended their account to me. I can't exactly remember how it went, but we got in contact with them and I love what they're doing. And we met them actually a couple months ago when we were in the area looking at houses. And their farm is only about 15 minutes from our house. So they invited us to a no-dig garden course, which we're going to be attending tomorrow. I'll definitely vlog there and show you guys kind of how it's done. I think it's the technique we're gonna implement here in our garden. So it's definitely gonna be like a big thing in our garden journey at this house, at this homestead. So I'm excited to share that with you guys, and I'm really excited to see them tomorrow. They are such cool girls. I love what they're doing so much. And it's just gonna be a really good day. It's supposed to be sunny all day tomorrow, which will be so nice. This guac is looking delicious. I'm excited to have tacos for dinner tonight. It's also a beautiful day out here today. This is my go-to easy salsa recipe. It's essentially diced yellow onion, diced tomatoes, cilantro or coriander for my Kiwis, and salt, pepper, lots of lemon. The citrus is the key. A little bit of olive oil, a little bit of apple cider vinegar, and a little bit of chili powder. And oh my goodness, it is so good. I have a really hard time when we're making salsa for taco night to not eat all of the salsa as I'm trying it to make sure that the seasonings are right with these chips, because it's all about to taste, right? So as salty as you want it, as peppery as you want it, as citrusy as you want it. But I feel like the more salt, the more citrus, the better. You kind of have to like keep adding it until it tastes right to you. And then this is my guac, super easy as well. I just did like 4 avocados, and then I added some olive oil, some chili powder, lots of lemon, always the key, salt, pepper, and that's it. We are going to go finish up making some dinner. I'm gonna rest tonight because it's a big day tomorrow. I'm actually going to wake up in the morning. I'm filming a sponsored video in the morning, and then I'm also going to film the no dig workshop as well, so I can share that with you guys. And then I'm going to feed Wilson after we eat, and then I'm going to remake his fermented milk replacer meal for tomorrow. So about 1 liter of that for tomorrow, like you guys saw towards the beginning of the vlog. And I'm gonna get some rest tonight because it's going to be a big day tomorrow. But thank you guys all so much for watching this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you very soon in a new one. Bye.